All right, thank you for listening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Release to Quacken. We are here talking about week 26 of our marathon training and what's coming up on week 27. And joining us tonight, we have the normal cast and crew of the Ducks. We got Lonnie, Jody, Gene, and Kevin. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Well.
And then we have somebody who probably doesn't need any introduction, but I'm sure G or Lonnie will give them an introduction. We have our special friends tonight, Mr. Scotty G, and his sidekick, Mr. Mike Rallman from the BOGP Podcast. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. I really appreciate you all having us tonight and talk about some marathon training, something that I've been really passionate about this time of year. You know,
yeah, excited to be here too and talk some runDisney. I mean, it is around the corner. It's like the monster in the closet. It's going to come out and get us here soon, and no, it's going to be fun and excited to be on. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show.
So, Lonnie, do you know some of the accolades that these people that we're speaking with tonight have? What are some of the things that they've done?
You know what? The list is so long, but let me just rattle off a couple of them. Over 2,200 podcasts recorded, voted top 50 podcasts by their peers in the community, and multiple dopey finishers. And put some respect on Scotty's name. It's hashtag Scotty G, not just Scotty G. Hashtag Scotty G and Mike Rom. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us. And thanks for getting that. Thanks for correcting Jeff. You know, like, people just think like, oh, he just put the pound symbol. No, it's not pound. It's hashtag. It's hashtag Scotty G. Thank you very much.
The one
and Lonnie, I know you like to put the IE. I like the IE too. So any way you want to do Scotty is acceptable. I'm just saying.
Very you nice. Got it, Jeff.
We are excited.
For the historical record, you heard it here first.
Let's go.
So, Jody, what did we have on schedule for week 26?
Week 26 was thankfully a lot better than week 25. If you're following the Dopey Galloway plan, we had our 2 normal 45-minute runs and only a 6-mile run, which was much nicer than last week.
So for these of you who don't know, we usually do these on Sunday night. So we do them live and they come out Sunday night, Monday mornings. We're actually recording this one a little early because Christmas and trying to get everybody together. So we're actually doing this one midweek. Speaking for myself, I'm pretty sure I'm not doing any of those runs this week. So I have fully into taper. I'm not sure about the rest of you guys. We're Tuesday night, so maybe one of you got something done already. What are you guys thinking of this week?
I did it all. I'm done.
Jody,
so I'm actually going to go off plan. So I love the Galloway plan. Like in my early years of marathon training, I followed that thing to a T. That was like a lifesaver for me to get that boost of confidence I needed for, race day. Now that I've had some marathons under my belt, I'm a little more casual with the training. But I'll tell you, this time of year, like I start getting nervous. I haven't hit that mileage I want. So I am going to shoot for an 8 to 10 miler this week. Forget that 6-mile business. I'm going to go for an 8 to 10 this week.
So how casual have you been through this training cycle?
I think 4 miles might have been my longest run so far. It's
casual.
It has not been
casual.
Yeah, it's not been ideal. I can talk about some of my strategies I'm going to have for race day because I think I'm just going to have to count on my experience and my knowing of the course and just I always preach this, but my mental toughness. Physically, yes, the challenge is tough, but I think mentally it's just as challenged. So I just get locked in. I'm down there for business. I know what I got to do, and I can hit my mark. I should be able to hit my marks just on my mental toughness.
That's impressive.
That is strong, no doubt.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it to anyone.
Well, this will be my first time not being able to go through the entire training cycle myself. So I think on the last episode I said my last run was the first week of December. So this week I'm going to try to actually get some runs in. I may try to do like Scotty, you just said, do a little bit longer than the 6 this weekend. Next week, take it easy. I'll be down in Florida, so visiting family. So just going to be doing a little bit of running there. Try to get used to the heat maybe a little bit. We'll see. So
good strategy.
I'm going to take it easy. This will be I'm getting a little nervous too with not having – this will be the first time I haven't done the complete training cycle. And so it's great to hear others that have kind of done that same thing and been successful. So it makes me feel a little bit better. So
Mike, I assume you're going to be busting out the half marathon, 9 to 13 miles every day on the treadmill every morning. Is that
this year's been really messed up because in the past few years, what I've done is just run 13 every day, just never gone farther, and that gets me fine for dopey. I mean, even because I just never go past 13, but I consistently do 13, so I'm usually in pretty good shape. Now this year in the fall, late summer, I had a knee injury where it always kind of it was always a nagging thing. But had an MCL issue, had a meniscus issue, and couldn't even really run or walk for about a month. And that killed me to not be able to run because I do this. I just got to get every day started with some kind of physical activity because I have a job where I sit at a computer and I just don't want to be a person who doesn't have physical activity. Because I used to be a school teacher. I was up around my classroom all the time. I had to go out for recess duty. I'd play kickball with the kids. I was always doing stuff. I wanted to be a PE major to start out. So I was always, busy playing sports my whole life. So, I always try to start every day off with activity. Well, what I've moved into, because my wife has gotten on me, she says it's not normal to run 13 miles every day. Like your body is going to break down at some point. Well, that happened. And she was, told you so. So the compromise
are always correct.
They are. And so the compromise I came up with coming out of, going to the knee specialist and going to physical therapy and all this other stuff in early September, mid-September, is that I'm still doing stuff 7 days a week every morning as I get up, but I'm only running 4 days a week and I'm running right around 11 and a half, 12 miles. I'm cutting it. I don't know why. It's just a time thing, but I'm cutting it back to about 12 miles 4 times a week. And then I walk 9 miles the other 3 days. But what I do is throughout the day is on those walk days, I'm averaging since September either running or walking 20 miles a day. So I think I'll get there. I've consistently done 20 miles a day for about 4 months.
I think you'll be all right.
I think I'll get there on Sunday.
I'm just guessing.
I'm super competitive though. Okay. And here's the thing. Like I want to be able to, my thing is I played sports my whole life. My daughter works in sports. She works in college basketball. We talk about strategy and winning and doing our best all the time. And exactly what Scott said, everything is mental. And when I get out there, I want to finish, of course. Right. But I also know what my times have been in the past and I just don't want to slip. And I know it's inevitable, right? Because every year you do it, you're getting older. You've got more miles on your knees. You've got more miles on your feet. It's going to happen. I mean, it's like, I'm not getting any younger, so I know it's going to happen. But I think that's that physical and mental challenge of, some people go down and have a good time during the races, and I love that. But I've just grown up where I want to give my best effort in everything I do. And it's hard for me to cut loose and go, well, I'm okay just to finish. That's fine. But I'm super competitive when I get out there. I know that's how my mind's going to work. So I've put in the miles walking more, and we'll see how the walking thing goes. That's kind of been my plan this year, but we'll find out. A lot of walking around the lake here where I live.
Good.
I know you're competitive because last year when we were running the full, we were coming into, Tim and I were coming into Animal Kingdom and you were coming out of Animal Kingdom. And we're like, there goes Mike. Like you were up at the very beginning and we're like, man, he's smoking us. So you were out there pretty fast.
We'll see. I always want to give my best effort, and it's going to catch up to me because I'm not fast. I just, I take it to I push it to the max. I used to be a speed skater, hockey player, baseball player. I played all kinds of competitive sports, and I think it's really hard for some people to turn that off. And the fun thing, the thing about runDisney is it is a fun environment. It's really not a competitive environment. But I know that there's something wrong with how my brain works. It's different than most people because I should be down there just to have fun. I get it because I see everybody in the monorail, 7 people running like a monorail and people like Skyliners, and all the fun costumes, getting all the pictures at every stop. Man, I'm loving all those people doing that. Like I've never stopped for a picture during a runDisney race in my life because I'm scared I've missed 5 minutes off my time, and I don't like, I'm not going to qualify for Boston or the Olympics or anything. Something's wrong with my brain. I just got to give my best effort every time. So there's just different people in the world, and that's just how I've been programmed, I think.
But let me tell you about this guy, my sidekick, though. He will hold back for his buddy, though. So, like, my first marathon of all time, like, Mike was doing dopey. I was doing the full. Like, I was out there cheering him for the first 3 races, and then we're having dinner at Olivia's the night of the half, the morning before the marathon. He's like, so Scotty G, like, I'm gonna hold back with you tomorrow. Like, I want to coach you during the full marathon. Like, I'm gonna, because he's done it before. So he's like, I know where the most challenging parts of the race are. We're just going to go together. We're just going to have like a 5.5 hour talk, and that was great. Like, because I know Mike wanted to be out there trying to break 4 hours. I don't think he's done that yet, but I know he tries. Like he was just saying, like, he's so competitive. But you know what was awesome that year? He just like, I don't even care about my time. I just want to hang out with my buddy. So I know he's got it in him to hold back. And he's an awesome running teammate. So Mike, kudos, man.
I appreciate that. I mean, that was probably my favorite run too, because we did Dopey together. I did it with my daughter, my oldest daughter. Almost killed her because she wanted to quit at like mile 20. Scott broke his foot. I think got a shin splint that was in a boot the next day. But those are the best races. But again, I think it's a balance, and I think maybe a lot of your listeners are kind of having that same battle. Like, do I, go pedal to the metal, or do I enjoy the experience and take it all in? Because you're paying a lot of money. It's kind of stupid not to get pictures on the course when they have all these great pictures, or enjoy the entertainment, enjoy those people that are around you because you're down there with so many friends. It's a balancing act. And, my scale goes to one side when I get down there just because of how I was raised, I think. And I'm hoping I can kind of find a little more balance in the future in these races. I'm still trying to find the best balance for myself.
So how many
was that? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kevin.
If Mike
I was going to ask,
he would die because we do 7 hours. So not even 5 hours, Mike. You probably would be like, I can't take it anymore. I'm done.
I see you guys, but here's the thing: I see you guys on the course all the time. Like, and you guys are having a blast. You're like a rolling party. You're okay. So I consider you guys like. So we live in Missouri. There's about 20 miles down the road. There's a bunch of wineries, and so down the state highway, there's always these people rent these buses, right? These party buses, so nobody has to drive, and so they take them out to the wineries and come back, and we see them all the time in the summer and the fall. You guys are like the rolling winery party bus,
except the kind that you have to pedal because we're having that.
And and I love that. Like, it fills my heart when I see you guys, because you guys are enjoying the fellowship, the company, the experience. You're taking it in. You're going to get so many great pictures. And here I'm miserable. I mean, really, I am. Like, I mean, I'm like pushing myself to where I'm in pain. It's like, but I feel like when I get done, if I don't push myself, I'll have regret. So it's a mental. That's why I like running, though, because it gives you lots of challenges and obstacles to overcome, and it makes you think about what are your goals. And I love challenges in life, and running is an ultimate mind game, constant mind game. Do I quit? Do I go on? Is this paying too much? Is it not enough? Kind of things like that.
If you would have saw us about the Coronado last year, we weren't a party bus. We were a very sad bus going through that stretch of road.
Like a mash unit.
No, did you just have to remind me of that stretch by Coronado? Because
Western Way, I hate the Western Way. I mean, I love Coronado, but like every time I drive around there, like I just can't. I start thinking about the marathon.
Don't want to see that again. No. And if I never see the Blizzard Beach parking lot,
my gosh, that's the worst.
That too, exactly. I was like, we're going to Blizzard Beach. No, we're not. Running 150-degree parking lot. Yeah.
And then you're going to come out and see people laying on the ground in the blazing heat. Yeah.
I'm like, when did this turn into an episode of MASH?
Exactly.
It kind of makes you want to go back to the old running around the sports complex.
ESPN.
Right. That's better than going in the heat of that parking lot circle.
So back in the day, and I don't know if any of you guys ran this race. There was a race that I ran where you ran through the woods at ESPN. It was like a Halloween race. It was the Twilight Zone Tire Terror, I think. So you went in and you just turned right off the road down a dirt path into the trees, and you ran through the woods back in ESPN, like with lights set up back in there for about a mile.
It's how the first Star Wars race was.
It was a Star Wars race. The Star Wars race, right as you came through ESPN, you came right down that same trail. Yeah.
I look back at that and I'm like, we actually did that? Like, Disney let us run through the woods? I mean, cool. But it was awesome.
I tell you, I was not a fan of Wide World of Sports, but looking back at it now, I mean, it's way more entertaining. You got like fight songs playing.
You get to run on the track.
You got the Jumbotron.
You do.
On the Jumbotron.
I mean, you did touch every square inch of that facility.
You really did.
Part I hate when you had to run the balance beam in the gym, like that was the worst part. But
well, they made me. The problem was they made you do handstands. Like I didn't sign up for that.
Well, no, the worst part was when they made you put on the leotard. I was like,
that's real. That's real. I mean, that's when we got a lot of our photos, though. for the Patreon for Mike, you got to spend a lot. You got to be at like level platinum. To get those
that's like a diamond or something.
Yeah.
So how many marathon weekends have you guys done?
Oh man.
My first one was 2016, I think. So all of them since then. So and Mike's up one on me, I think, right?
Actually, my first one was 2008. 2007 or 8, something like that. I ran the half a few times, but my first marathon was 2015. But I ran just the half a bunch of times before that. Well, not a bunch, but probably 3 or 4 times before that.
So what is it that keeps you guys coming back year after year after year after year to put yourselves through all this?
I would say for me, it's just it's the friends, right? And well, okay, there's a couple things. The thing that got me going before any of the podcast stuff got bigger is the escape, right? In January, getting out of St. Louis, going to Florida for a weekend. I mean, typically the weather's better. There have been weekends where it's not been great. It's been the one year it was sleeting and snowing during the half, and it was colder during the full. I didn't run the full that year, but it was nasty. But most of the time, it's better weather than St. Louis, so you get a break from the weather. But what it is for me now, it's like a big family reunion. I get to see my friends that from all over the country, all over the world, actually, that, you get to see a few times a year. You get to see them maybe in November, January, February, April, if you're lucky, a couple of times throughout the year. But we all get together. We do this crazy thing. We're standing in a parking lot at 3:30 in the morning, getting ready to run, shivering. And you know what? Pain brings camaraderie, I think. And that's what brings me back. And it's also the overall experience. It's Pelkey, it's Riley, it's Carissa, it's the fun, leading up to the races, the Star Spangled Banner, the fireworks, the getting in your corrals, getting nervous. I get so nervous before the races. I mean, all 4 mornings of the Dopey, I'm about to throw up. Even the 5K, I'm so nervous. But then crossing the line, like, sign me up. Like, they should have the registration for the next year, like right there, 10 feet past the finish line. Everybody would sign up. It's the whole thing. It's not even the medals or anything like that for me. It's just it's the experience of being there and it's more the people I'm with.
I mean, yeah, Mike is spot on. Like, for me, it started exactly the same way. Like, I'm a guy in mid-Michigan where the winters are just so brutal. And like, what's this thing that at Disney does in January? What? That's a race weekend? Like, sign me up. I don't want to be in Michigan, like in the middle of January or the early parts of January. That's why I do Princess too. It's just that escape from the weather. And you put a Disney bow on top of it, like, sign me up. But it has really transitioned over the years, right? Hanging out with Mike. I mean, we're 500 miles apart. The only times we ever hang out are really on Disney trips. I've been to his house a couple times, but like, it's very rare that we get to hang out. And, I mean, now with my daughter a little bit older, she doesn't come down for marathon weekend because it's harder to pull her out of school. And being a sophomore, you got to be locked in. So marathon weekend now is like me and my wife come down. Mike's normally solo, so it's cool for the 3 of us just to hang out. It's like like this year we're gonna be hanging out at Old Key West, just hanging out at the pool and just chatting and like not really worried about the parks. It's just more time to just hang out with friends. And oh yeah, we got a race we have to do every day, but I try not to think about that. Yeah, 4 days in a row.
Just knock that out real quick so we can have fun.
Yeah.
So we know Mike's not a big costume fan. What about you, Scotty G? You doing costumes? What's your take on those?
So people laugh about me. I kind of have a weird trademark with my running outfits. I prefer to golf than run. Let's be real. Like, and I'm terrible at golf too. Like, that's just basic. I'm not really talented at much. I like to do a lot of things, but I'm not like extraordinarily great at it. But golfing is more my thing. So I run in golf polos. That's what I'm comfortable with. That's what I like to do. And you never know. You might finish a race like, with Dopey, we're starting those races super early in the morning. Like, I might be done by 6, 7, 8 a.m. Someone might call me up with a tea time. Boom, I'm ready to go. I'm in my golf outfit. Always got to be prepared for a round of golf. So, but yeah, I've done costumes and don't let Mike fool you. He's done costumes before. We've done Woody and Buzz, and he does his hot dog thing every now and then. So I've been known to kind of do some costumes. I do more of like a Disney bounding. So like, one year, like I dressed up as Mickey Mouse for the full. Like I wore the white Mickey gloves for 26.2 miles.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And then I had like the mouse ears on, So and I did the color bounding. So I do a lot of that. Like if the medal is going to be, Donald. Like last year, I wore like the Donald bow or whatever, and like a blue polo shirt and stuff. So I'll do bounding kind of stuff, but not usually like hardcore costumes.
Yeah, Scott, I'm glad you said that. I was about to throw the challenge flag because I remember some costumes. I remember Toy Story. I remember the hot dog. I remember Mike running by me saying, I'm so hot in this hot dog costume.
He's done like Tinkerbell wings too during Princess before.
Hated those. They beat me up for 6 miles. Yeah.
And you've done Buzz Lightyear wings too, I think.
Yeah.
So Mike, you kind of partake in it sometimes for the shorter distances.
Yeah. I'll have a costume for this marathon weekend for one of the races at least. You're gonna have fun, right? I mean, why not? We'll try it. We'll see what we can pull out. Because Mallory bought something and she didn't send it back to Amazon, so I'm going to try it. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything, but it's a stupid costume. So it's never been worn. So I figure, why not take it to marathon? Go on.
Then you just leave it behind.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Look like a dork out there, So we'll see.
Throwaway costume.
No, goes to the homeless.
Some people have throwaway sweats. You have throwaway costumes. I like it.
Yeah. Homeless man running around like Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
I don't even know where Buzz is. After we moved, who knows? I haven't seen that. That's my favorite.
That's one of my favorite Run Disney memories, though, because that year, it was during the BR Guest Podcast live show where we raised a bunch of money, and I remember Mike Bankhead called in and said, if we hit the X dollar this hour, I'm telling you, Ramen and Scotty, they gotta do a costume. So Mike and I kind of, I think I was at the hotel room the night before, like leaving, like a park sleep and fly. Like, hey Mike, what should we do for costumes?
Right.
We're running in 3 days, so we ordered. Just went on Amazon and ordered those. And we were staying at the beach club, I think, that year. So we tried them on, like in the atrium. We were having like a meetup, and then Paige saw us. And she said, well, that's not fair. I want a costume. So I remember we had to do like a 1 hour delivery for a Jessie outfit. But that is one of my favorite memories. Like there's this shot of us like on the boardwalk. There's like no one inside. It's just the three of us. Like we're in sync with like our feet and our stride. Man, we just look
like
good. We look good.
It's so photoshopped. But it was a miracle shot.
And then we did the Andy's coming bit, like back at the boardwalk. Remember, like in the lobby, like Paige wanted us to just fall down and do like Andy's coming. That was a fun little photo too. So we had some fun with it.
Real quick about that weekend. That was the weekend though that was it the half that was canceled?
Yeah, that was the weekend. That was the next day.
That was the greatest, though. And, I think that just kind of brings it all around that we don't know what this marathon weekend is going to bring. It could bring bad weather. It could bring, all kinds of circumstances. Yeah. And at the time, it was devastating news. I remember we were sitting in Mexico having at the outdoor Mexico restaurant, when we got the news that they canceled the race. And we were devastated because we'd run into Pelkey at the hotel about an hour before. Like, is the race going to be canceled? He's like, no, I don't think so. Boom, canceled. So we're like, what are we going to do? We decided we're all going to run it like at midnight. Well, we decided we were saying a beach or boardwalk. We were saying a boardwalk because we were looking out on the boardwalk because everybody's going to run around the boardwalk at midnight, right after midnight to get it done. And so we're like, we'll meet you down there at the boardwalk, even if it's raining. So we looked down to like 11:45, man, there was like a wicked thunderstorm. And God bless him, Mike Bankhead's like the only one that showed up. And he's out there running in this thunderstorm. I mean, with lightning, Florida lightning. Somebody's going to get killed. Like, we didn't even go outside. We were looking from our hotel room. I was like, you got to be crazy. I was like, here's the good news. Mike Bankhead is such a good man. God himself will not strike Mike Bankhead down in my life. If I'm out there, I'm a dead done. Like, dude, I am done if I'm running out there in that lightning. But Mike Bankhead, he's good. Like, everybody likes Mike. Yeah. So he, God bless him. He was out there running at midnight.
Well, I remember we had adjoining rooms, and you were knocking on like the door, like Scott, let's get down there. And I rolled over. I'm like, nope, I'm not going down. We'll do it in the morning, later in the morning. But another funny, that was a great marathon weekend. One of my favorites. I mean, the weather was cold, like we had that rain there because I remember Marathon Sunday was really cold that morning,
windy too. Yeah.
Yep. But going back to the Toy Story costume, so this is something about my sidekick. Like he's very impatient. Okay, so we're sitting at the boardwalk, and we get on the bus. And he doesn't want to wait through all the stops to go to Yacht Club and go to Beach Club and go to the Swan because the boardwalk was like the last one. So I think we stopped at the Swan first or second. He's like, guys, let's just get off here and we'll just walk. Because this guy, like, he just always wants to be moving. Like, he can't just sit down on a bus.
Get another couple thousand steps.
Yeah. He's like, we can add our step total. So me and Paige just kind of roll our eyes like, whatever. Yeah, we'll get off here, Mike. So we get off, and then I think Mike was like, we can take a shortcut. We enter through here, So
yeah, because I had just been there for a media event. I'm like, we're in this ballroom. We're just going to cut through here, and they'll take us right out to the path. And we'll
so we're walking down this ballroom. We got all our Toy Story gear on. Boom, we make this turn, and there's hundreds of conventioners like in their suits and dresses, and we're just walking through as Buzz, Woody, and Jesse. Like, you should have seen the reactions on everyone's faces. Like, they didn't think there was gonna be a character meet, I guess. Like,
I know they're like, Disney has really cut back on their characters.
I mean, I told one lady like $20 for a picture. Come on, let's go. It's like, this is better than Times Square, New York. I was telling you. I mean, we look good.
The looks were awesome.
So you guys mentioned Mike Bankhead a couple times, and I know you've talked about this on your show several times. How did the Lizards come to form? I know we're all part of the community with you that you've got set up there. How did that come to be, and how did you ever think it would grow to what it is now?
I never had any idea, and it's all Mike. I mean, it's 100% Mike Bankhead that got the whole ball rolling and continues to keep the momentum of the group together. Mike just came on the show as a listener and was doing a trip report and kind of shared his story of all ears back in the day used to have a big running team that raised money with Deb Wills for a lot of good causes. I think it was Avon Cancer Research. It was a cancer research foundation, but I think it got kind of big and unwieldy, and Deb was kind of wrapping up her involvement and getting ready to get rid of All Ears, kind of wrapping up her involvement in the Disney community. So they closed up the All Ears running team. And so at the time, Mike and I had been talking, and I just kept telling him, I'm like, I'm so inspired by his story, how he used running with his wife and his sister, and his whole family got together, and they were all kind of overcoming health obstacles using running as a way to combat, struggles with cancer and, all these obstacles in life. And they also used it for an excuse to go to Disney races, right? Go from South Carolina down to Florida, have some fun. And I thought that was so cool. Mike is just such a cool guy. And so he asked me, he's like, do you care if we start a little running team, kind of associate with your podcast, and we could kind of promote it and get some people running together, like just to support each other? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I was not a runner at the time, but I was getting, I needed to get a little more healthy, and I was getting sedentary. I just had Mallory. It's one of those things, you transition, you have a newborn child, and you kind of sit around a lot. You don't do a lot. So he inspired me to kind of get moving. So he's changed my life in so many ways personally, not just physically, but he has a lot physically. I lost a ton of weight initially, and, it's made me a lot more healthy physically, but it's also, he's like a mentor to me. He's so positive on social media, the way he interacts with everybody on the team. Yeah. You're not a number, even though we have quite a few people on the team. You're a teammate. You're somebody he cares about. He will take the time to hear what you need, and he'll take the time to respond and help meet you at the races. And, you can't say nice enough things about Mike Bankhead. He cares about people. He wants to see people succeed and do the best they can. And he's just the best friend anybody could have. And we're just so lucky to have him as part of our team. It's amazing.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Jody, you got any questions for Mike or Scotty G? I know you usually cover the costumes, but we've kind of...
Yeah, thanks for my question, Jeff.
Right. I was on a roll.
So, are you going to be there for the photos in the morning, for all the group photos? Is that part of your plan this time? I know you typically are, but is that part of your game plan?
That's tough for me because sleep is a very valuable thing to me. Let me tell you something. Like, I used to be so nervous about the bus situation in the morning. I think we still all do it, right? We make like 16 alarms, like every 3 minutes, make sure we wake up. But like, I used to be like, all right, I'm waking up at 2 a.m. And then the next weekend, like, you know what? I think I can get 10 more minutes. I can wake up at 2:10, 2:15, 2:20. Now it's like almost like 3 o'clock when I'm waking up. Like when like the bus is almost ready. Now I have this routine where, I shower the night before and all that. Like I sleep in my bib and I got everything ready to go. So I can just like, it's like Rocky, like in Rocky 1, he just rolls out of bed, cracks his eggs, drinks it, and he's gone. Like that's what I do. Like I try to maximize as much time. So that might make me a little bit later to the photo, but I usually make it on time. I'm not like Joe or anything where he's like in Epcot's parking lot at 1:30 in the morning. I'm going to get there a little later, but I should be there for the photo.
I don't know. Jeff is always first on the bus too. So he's first one ride on the bus.
I can't anymore. I just can't.
I'm still first on the bus.
So Jody, let me ask you this.
Yeah, you are.
I'll ask all of you this because me and our friend Wade were talking about this over Wine and Dine. Like, are you all like those chipper people on the bus where you're just like super chatty and like, oh no, I can't wait for this race? Because like I'm still trying to get like an extra 15 minutes of sleep personally.
If you are, let me sleep. I can see that. Please. That's a good 30 minutes. You can take
really is.
And there's so many chatty people. Like, I understand you're excited, but how are you this excited at 2:45 in the morning? I'm trying to sleep.
Especially on Sunday, people. We need the rest.
Gene's that person.
Have you ever met Lonnie?
Oh, that's funny.
Lonnie's friends with everybody on the bus by the time we get there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Lonnie's actually probably driving the bus by the end of it. Let's be real.
Lonnie's leading us on song and dance on the bus. We're all gonna cheer by the end of it going.
I was on the bus one time when the bus driver was going the wrong way, and I was like, dude, we are going the wrong way.
Get out of the way. Let me take it.
Yeah, I said, dude, you're supposed to turn back there, dude. I mean, literally.
That happens more often than it should.
It really does.
We all been on a bus that's gone the wrong way. It's like this. We're obviously going towards Universal. And last time I checked, this race doesn't go to Universal. Let's go back towards the big ball.
If they want to drop me off, at mile 15 for the marathon, that's cool with me. I'll start there.
As long as your bib tracks the course, who cares?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's funny. But talking about the photos, though, it's so funny to look at those first few years, like 2014, 2015, 2016. You see a good group, right? And you look at Mike Bankhead and Mike Rallman, they started this group. Look how great it is. And then every year it just evolves and gets so much bigger and bigger. Where you need the super's widescreen camera now to get anyone in there. We all look like dots now. You can't even spot yourself out in the photos anymore. It's just unbelievable to see the growth of our team, and it really shows especially marathon week, and that's when most people come out. I know when we had Star Wars, some people do 2 races a weekend. It's just marathon and Star Wars, but I feel 95% of the people that are doing Run Disney and our group does marathon weekend. It's just amazing to see those morning photos.
Well, and the fact that the group continues to grow like it is, and that the heart of the group doesn't seem to diminish, seems to get stronger, and there aren't any other groups out there like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love, when we get new people, because you can learn so much from new people, because I know nothing about running, just getting on treadmill every morning, so it's great to have the new blood, have the folks who, because we have people from every, perspective of running, some people just walk the whole way. We've had people, Georgia, one of our runners, he won one of the Run Disney events years ago, he won, he crossed the tape, that is unbelievable. So I just love that if you just sit there, you can have a good time with great friends. And if you listen a little bit, you might learn something from some folks.
Mm-hmm. That's what just don't listen to me and Mike, though. I love it when we're on a podcast and someone's like, so what's the diet recommendation the nutrient recommendation that you make? Look at me, I'm 280 pounds. You don't want to listen to me, all right? When it comes to racing. Or
Mike's like a Mexican pizza, they're bringing them back.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you wouldn't believe how many times Mike gets asked about his shoes. How many miles do you recommend on your shoes? This guy has 3,000 miles on one pair of shoes. Come on. No. So we do have some people that are a little bit smarter than us, and those are the people that you need to go to for advice.
Yes, it's not me. I'm just one foot in front of the other. That's the only thing I know. I just keep going.
Well, the best part I love about our community is you're never alone on the course. No matter what, you're always bound to find somebody who's a lizard, or it could be a cheer person. It could be someone on the course. It could be, you could be running next to someone and all of a sudden realize that they're a fellow lizard. It's so encouraging, and it really helps pull you along no matter where you are on the course. Yep. And then sometimes you get photos that don't turn out right, Scotty G.
Yeah, you do, unfortunately. And then a lot of times you get photos and then all of a sudden the magic of Lonnie just shows up. You're like, I didn't even know Lonnie was near me. He was in 4 corrals ahead of me. Then how did he show up?
Lonnie wasn't even at this race. How did he
Exactly. He's just a magician, I tell you, Lonnie. He's good.
That's my goal.
But one thing I was going to talk about too, so I talked about my training is basically non-existent. So I was telling Mike this the other day, talking about my mental toughness. So I actually make a game out of the marathon now. So I make a playlist. So I know I can do a 16-minute mile and beat the balloon ladies, right? But if I'm start up a little bit earlier, I could probably do a 17-minute mile. So I make these playlists that are 17 minutes each. And then I just kind of play it in order. So my goal is I have to hit the next mile marker before that playlist ends. And it just becomes a game for me. and they're normally like these like pump up songs, I call it like my top 100. These are like my top 100 tracks, so it's going to get me pumped up and mentally tough through the race. And it's just like a little game that I play. And honestly, like, I think that's the only way I could ever finish the marathon now, or else like I would just be toast without training. So something I would recommend, like think about like a little game that you can play sometimes with the whatever you're listening to.
I like that. I just pretend like the balloon ladies are just behind me all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it freaks me out. Like, I mean, even if they're not, you saw it. I mean, we saw them on a switchback finishing the full marathon. I mean, they were probably 5 miles behind us, but we saw them like the opposite side of World Drive finishing the marathon. And I started like getting on you and Paige. I'm like, dude, there's the balloon ladies. Like, I do not.
You can track them too. I know a couple of their names, so I put them in for my tracking, so I know where they're at all times.
I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. Yeah.
They're sweet. They're sweet ladies.
Nope, they're not to me.
Not in my mind. They're not.
Nope, you can't tell me that.
I'll get to meet them there this year, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
We'll have an exclusive interview live from Disney with the Ducks
Right.
on the party wagon. Let's meet the balloon ladies.
I may have a picture with the balloon ladies.
I've seen it.
I mean,
I mean, who doesn't have a photo with Lonnie though? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That is true. Yeah,
those are my goal list. Balloon lady pick.
Hold on a second. Guess who Lonnie has never photobombed before?
Wow.
Oh,
This
That's
one.
amazing.
I mean,
Give
I
it
know
another 3
it's
weeks.
about to come to an end. I'm counting down the days. What are we, 15 days now or whatever it is? I know it's coming to an end, but I have real photos with Lonnie, but no photobomb photos with Lonnie.
it's gonna be crazy when you take your selfie on your plane that you're flying down, and boom, Lonnie's gonna be right there right behind you.
Like 2
She doesn't even live
Or
in
2 weeks
Cincinnati.
after you get home.
Look, he's behind you.
Well, do Mike or Scotty G, do you have anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we wrap up the show for the night?
I just want to thank everyone for listening, and just keep grinding. Like I joked like, oh, I'm 280 pounds, like I'm not really a runner. Like I'm not really joking, but I think if you're afraid to make those first steps, like I was so afraid of it. Like it was the mics that made me do it. Right. I was heavy. I lost a bunch of weight. Now I've gained a bunch of weight, but in the early days of the running for me, like I was heavy. I loved Disney. My boy was he wasn't my boy at the time. I listened to him all the time. We didn't even know each other when the Lizards were formed, but I was like, man, I love listening to this guy. Mike Bankhead is awesome. They're going to go do all these Run Disney races. This could be a way I can meet them. So I'm going to do it. So I just, as Mike said, one step at a time. Like you wouldn't just believe in yourself and you'll be able to do it. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't think I could do this Run Disney thing, just train for a 5K. You'd be amazed at how capable you are of doing these things. And then they might even grow. You might be doing a 10K next and signing up for all these crazy races. That might not be your thing, but just get out there and challenge yourself, and you'll surprise yourself. You really will. So
yeah, I echo that 100% because I remember when I was in high school. So when you're 17, 15, 16, 17, I played high school baseball, and I was a pitcher and left-handed tall dude. So I got to play varsity in high school for most of the time. And that was a lucky thing. But every year during tryouts, one of the ways they would cut down, because I went to a very large suburban high school, was that you had to run 2 miles in under 22 minutes. And that was like, that's how they weeded out the players. I never, ever could make that run because I just told myself, I'm not a runner. I can't do it. And, I could never make an 11-minute mile. I thought that was just like the 4-minute mile. It was just a barrier that in my head I couldn't do. And I never did. I was lucky that they kept me on the team just because they needed a left-handed pitcher. So it bent the rules, thank goodness, that these, coaches had no ethics, I guess. But, I look back at that and, I think a lot of us put that barrier in our heads, that, oh, well, if I can't make this, then the door is closed forever. Well, I think the first time I ever did break that, maybe 2 miles in under 22 minutes, was in my 40s. Because I never went back to revisit running until that time. And I think a lot of people think, oh, well, by the time you're in your 40s, maybe you're past your peak when it comes to something like doing a Run Disney event or something. But I'll tell you what, I didn't even run until I hit my 40s. And I've put in, literally tens of over, I've looked on Runkeeper over 20,000 miles in my 40s, so you can do it. You can start whenever you want. And it's what Scott said. It's a couple of things. It's a grind. Just put one foot in front of the other. And what Scott said earlier is so true. It's a mental challenge. It's mental from the point of, do I want to get out of bed this morning and get on the treadmill? Do I want to get out, throw on a couple layers and go outside for 3 miles, 5 miles, what have you? But the reward is there, that and also if you think about it, you're inspiring your kids. You know, even if you have teenagers are hard to ever get feedback from. You know, I'm a parent, I have 2 daughters, and the thing is, they're never going to say, "Oh, good job, Dad." You know, it's cool to see you, but I'm hoping that I'm setting an example that, you know, hard work, even when you're old and your knees creak, but you're consistently getting out there, putting in work. And I hope that that's a lesson that they're seeing, even if they're not saying anything or giving feedback on. I'm hoping that, you know, at least you're setting an example out there. And then when you get to these Run Disney events, you get to have, you know, like I've said for many years, these are kind of the victory laps. These are the fun, you know, like you've already put in the work on the treadmill and in your neighborhood. You know, that was the hard times. You know, 5:30 in the morning around your lake or around the neighborhood. That's the boring, terrible stuff.
In most cases, though, Mike, sorry to interrupt. It is the victory lap. You and I joked yesterday because I think Jody did it, right? You did your mock dopey. We're just going to wait to do our mock dopey in the first week of January.
We're past the point of no return, but we said, you know what? I mean, everybody did their mock dopies and smiling, you know, complaining it was kind of hard. It was freezing, you know what? But I mean, like, everybody did it like this past weekend. We're just going to do that over marathon weekend. Right. Call it a mock and real dopey and just get the medals.
That's how I'm going to do my social media. I'll be like, mock dopey day 1 complete. Oh, they gave me a medal too.
We're smarter than the average, you know, bear. That's how you do it. But no, we appreciate you having us on because it's so fun to talk with you guys because, you know, we've all met down there at the races and we're going to get to do that again here in a couple weeks. And it, you know, like I've always said, it's like a family reunion and we all get each other through the experience because we laugh, we cry, we get blisters, we get cramps, you know, but somehow we always, we support each other. We make the best of it and we'll do it again. And I'm excited to be a part of this again.
Absolutely. So Jody, do you have the schedule for what we got coming up for their final week of training?
Can you believe this? It's going to be one of the last times I hold up the schedule. It's so sad. So week 27, we are finally there. This is nice and easy again, a 45, 45, and a 7. And then it's time to pack the bags, show up, and get ready to high five all your friends at the start line.
It's exciting. It's coming
I did
fast. That's next week's recording midweek, Lonnie, that we're saying we did that one. You're early.
Edit that out.
So, well, again, guys, we appreciate you coming on and talking with us tonight and taking time out of your busy schedules during the holidays and going through this. We really do appreciate it. And on behalf of the Ducks here and all the rest of our listeners that are listening and tuning in and getting ready to head down for Marathon Weekend, we just like to tell everybody that forward is a pace, and we'll see you here in a couple weeks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thanks for coming.
I'm telling you, because here's the thing. There's a difference between getting to Taco Bell at 6:45 and 7. If you get there at 6:45, no line. 7 o'clock, the line's around the building. So Scott fell out. He's gone.
I'm still here. I was in tears, so I had to block my camera. That just did so much for me.
I thought Dopey would kill the guy, but it was like that introduction just wiped him out. He's totally gone. It's out of control. This is why we only have 4 people. I couldn't handle this. I can't wrangle like this.
I don't know why my video doesn't work.
It's not that hard. They're like 2 buttons.
Start and stop. That's all the ones.
It's something always not like start. Exactly.
If Gene can figure it out, you know, it's pretty easy.
Gene didn't even say anything, and he's already taking heat.
Mike, I'm gonna just tell you, man. With friends like I have here, I don't need enemies.
Dude, hey, this is my Monday every week. Like, but usually it's Ricky and it's her animals.
Mike says they get off my lawn in a second.
I have gotten old like fast. I mean, it just like it went off a cliff. I was like 21, 70.
I'm back, baby.
What's up, Ricky? What's up, Ricky?
I deserve it. I deserve that.
Poor Scotty G.
You're one take Scott.
Yeah, I am one take Scott.
Hashtag one take Scott.